So I'm going to tell you today the 8 different types of energy. The first one is physical energy. The second one is mental energy. The third, emotional energy. The fourth, spiritual energy. The fifth, do it this way. The fifth, masculine energy. The sixth, feminine energy. The seventh, my favorite, dark energy. And the last, light energy. Now, wow, they all sound like woo, very, very spiritual and different and so on. And they are, okay, because energy is something which you can't see, it's abstract, you can't touch it, you can't feel it. Well, you can feel it inside you, but you can't. You can actually sense it, so you just can't see it physically and you can't touch it. So that's what abstract is. Emotions are like that, you can't see them, you see the signs of them. Same with energy, you see the signs of them. So these 8 types of energy are very powerful concepts, and they exist inside every human being. In physical energy, it's to do with the energy of your physical body. Mental energy is the energy of your mind. When your mind is about to do something, and our minds are working almost all the time, sometimes your mind is able to carry on and your body isn't, and sometimes your body is able to carry on but your mind isn't. Okay, so you can see that there is a mental energy aspect there. Third is your emotional energy. What does that even mean? Okay, so emotional energy is your ability to do an emotional task. So then you have to know what is an emotional task in order to know whether you have the energy or not. It's 2 different things. So emotional energy is very powerful. If you can, let me give you a hint. So there's the emotional energy in relation to yourself, and there's the emotional energy in relation to others. If you can only help yourself emotionally, then that's a good sign, but it's that you can do that, but your emotional energy is on the low side. If you're able to help other people emotionally, like they're going through something and you can listen to them and sympathize with them and empathize with them, then that's a sign that your emotional energy is high. Okay, there are times in your life where you can't do that because you're drained yourself. You need to learn how to replenish to be able to give. So the fourth one is about spiritual energy. Spiritual energy is the ability to do something which is greater than yourself, something you believe in, that you will willingly go through hardship to get that thing done, even though that's not directly going to benefit you. It's something which you believe in that's greater than yourself. That's where your spiritual energy comes from. Next one is the masculine energy. So many people get confused about this masculine and feminine energy, and they think masculine is only in men and feminine is only in women, whereas the actual energy states themselves are gender free. They're not to do with man and to do with woman. Although men will have more masculine energy more of the time and women will have more feminine energy more of the time, but the actual energy states themselves exist in both a man and a woman. So you have to understand what the nature of them are in order to realize, am I in this state right now? Am I in masculine? Am I in feminine? Is he or she in masculine? Or are they in feminine? One useful thing to know is that they do attract, opposites attract, and the same repel. The same repel. So let me give you an example. Masculine energy, firstly, a definition. And masculine energy is the energy of dominance, the energy of leadership, the energy of control, decisiveness, sharp. It's one direction and it's focused. So this is masculine energy revolves around leadership and around decision making, decisiveness like this. It's very sharp in its nature. Whereas feminine energy is very broad, very compassionate, very open, very giving. So with feminine energy, it's very submissive and listens and obeys. So this is the feminine type of energy. Now you may be thinking, oh, does that mean all women should submit and all men should be dominant? No, it doesn't mean that. At different times, a man will be dominant, and other times, a woman will be dominant. At other times, a man will be submissive, and at different times, a woman will be submissive. So you need to learn when to actually use those energy states. So let's use an example, because this is one of the ones where the world is very confused about masculine and feminine energy at the moment. When you're making a decision, whether you're a man or a woman, that's masculine energy you're using. When you are even deciding what to wear, when you're deciding where to go, when you're deciding your work-related things, when you're deciding anything, it's a dominant energy. It's a, yeah, we're doing this. But let's say you're in a meeting, there's one leader and there's, let's say, 5, 6 other people who are followers of that person. They're not the leader, they're giving opinions. So they have to submit to that leader, and that's where their energy of submission, because submission requires energy as well. So submission in itself, to put your ego down, to put your feelings aside and say, yep, I will do what you say, you are my leader, that's a feminine energy. And so you see that on an everyday basis, whether it's all men, all women, or a mix of two, both people need to use masculine and feminine energy. Let's use another example, one of my favorite. Imagine you're in a war and there's one general and there is 1,000 people in the army. Let's just say 1,000 men. So the 1,000 men are actually in the state of feminine energy because there's only one leader, and he's the one in the state of masculine energy in that moment. So what this actually tells you is feminine energy is more in quantity, it's more prevalent, and masculine energy is less. And that's actually the correct nature of things. You see it everywhere. So it's not 50-50. Decision making is very limited. Every human being has limited decision making power on a daily basis. So and you don't have to make hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of decisions every day all the time. You only need to make a few. So but then the rest of the time you have to just follow and do those decisions. Even the leader will be following his or her own decisions. So masculine energy is more like 20% of the time, and feminine energy is more like 80% of the time. So this is a whole other topic which I could go and talk about regarding husband and wife, couples, and so on, and masculine and feminine energy, and how they mix and how they conflict, and how a man and a woman in this day and age are both very masculine in their energy states, and that's why they don't get along. And then sometimes you find they're both very feminine, and that also doesn't get along. And then sometimes you find that a woman is very masculine and a man is being very feminine, and then she doesn't feel attracted to him anymore because she can't enter her feminine state, and he's not able to enter his masculine state. But they need to learn how to switch between the two. So sometimes she can be masculine, he can be feminine. Sometimes he will be masculine and she will be feminine. But they need to be aware of how to change and when they are in which state as well. And you also need to know how to recognize someone else's state. Okay, the last two. Dark energy, my favorite. Dark energy is the energy from pain. So pain and suffering. Pain is, it happens to you. Suffering, you kind of let it happen because you're not doing anything about it. So the dark energy increases and increases and increases. So dark, as many billionaires and millionaires say in the world, that the best thing you can give a person is poverty. Why? Because when they hit rock bottom, the dark energy is so high, so powerful it becomes, that if you use it in the right way, you can become powerful. You can change the world, with it. It's really you can change your life at least. So dark energy exists inside all of us, the energy from pain, that when you've gone through something really tough, really hard, and it makes you want to make a change, it makes you want to change the system, it makes you want to protest, it makes you want to start a business. So this is dark energy, the energy from pain, the ability to do something because of a pain that you went through. And the last one, and if what I will say about dark energy is, if you don't do something about it, it will weigh inside you so heavy that it will pull you down mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Everything will pull you down, that dark energy. So it has to be transmuted. Transmuted means turning it, using it, and sending it somewhere. So you have to use this energy and send it somewhere positive. And the last one is the light energy, the energy from pleasure. So when you love someone or are very happy about something and something's great has happened to you and you have this motivation. So motivation is an example of light energy. So is inspiration. Very slightly different, to not same thing, but you feel motivated, you feel inspired. This is light energy, that you've got some sort of pleasure. The energy has now come to do something because of the pleasure in there, in this energy. So that's what so this is very briefly what the 8 types of energy are. Every public speaker will need these different types of energy. Every introvert and every extrovert will need all of these types of energy. If I'm being honest, everyone in the world needs the right balance of all of these 8 types of energy, because without them, when they're imbalanced, life falls apart. And when they are perfectly balanced, you will have a wonderful inner state, external state, charisma around you, and almost untouchable. So it's if you want more information about these, then what I will do is this: just type in the comments 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, depending on which one you want in the order that I went through them, or you can just put the names of the ones which you liked and want to hear about a bit more. And I will be doing more training on these topics as well in the future. Right, thank you for listening.